Hello, welcome back to Color and Canvas. Today we are going to be doing a straight pour using all of our leftover paints because we're on our little adventure in Mexico and we are switching houses next week. So all of the paint that I have left over in cups, like all of you that pour along and do your own art, you know there's always leftover paint and we always encourage you to save it and use it for something else. So I have lots of these lovely metallics that are mixed up. And these are mostly Deco Art, Extreme Sheen, or Dazzling Metallics, mixed with a little bit of Floetrol and some water to get them to a thin consistency. These were all left over from other pours. This is a 24 karat gold mixed with Liquitex Gold, Liquitex Basics. These are just some mixed blues and some silver. These were not metallics, these are just, regular light blue, but I put a little bit of silver in and mixed them together. And our base coat, this light green, I had a cup of turquoise that was a whole bunch of different paints that were left over mixed together. And then I poured in some white base coat and some silver to give it a little shine and some water to thin it out. And that's going to be our base coat today, kind of a medium light green. I wouldn't call it a mint green. We have some turquoise, some dark blue, some yellow and gold mixed together, some purple, some metallic red, I think it's ruby red, pink tourmaline, some pearl white, and that's what we're going to use for our little straight pour today. Now, because these are all leftovers, you don't really know if they're going to work out the exact same way. It's always nice to be able to work with, the same consistency of paint, all freshly made. But that's not what we have today. So, I should have saved some of that. So, I have a plan B. If this doesn't work out, we're going to be swiping it. So, we do have a plan. There's a plan. So, never fear. Except I need a little bit of extra of this paint, so I'm going to pour it into the cup. Look at that. Always improvise. If you forgot a step, see whether you can work with it. Pouring it back in the cup, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I did need a bit more paint. And get that corner poured off, and we're good to go. Perfect. One of the things I like least about doing base coats in that way is that your gloves get all slippery, and you gotta wipe them off. There's a few air bubbles in that base coat. We'll take care of those too. And we are moving to another house next week, but alas, it is not our house. Our house is not ready yet, so we'll be in Airbnb for a couple of more months, I think. But you know me, I always find a way to paint. All right, so we have our little bit of base. I'm going to take an empty cup, just move this over ever so slightly, and we will pour our paint. I'm going to start with some of the base coat in the bottom. And then we're going to pour all of these into that base coat. I'm going to put most of this blue in the bottom. And we will pour into there with our other colors. So I'm going to pour in all of our red from up high to let that blend in. Scrape out these cups because now we are done with our extra paint. And I'm going to put a tiny bit of gold, just a drop. I'm going to put the rest in later. We'll go in with our dark blue. Save my sticks, but I am going to get rid of my cups. Okay, I'm going to put in a bit of our white. I'll put in half of our white now and half later with the gold. We'll do our purple, our violet-purple blend. That violet was far too light for my liking, so I put in a little bit of dioxazine purple in with it to make it a little darker. And then we will put in our yellow gold blend. The rest of our white pearl. Our blue, our turquoise blue. This is not like the blue from the base coat. This is actual metallic turquoise. A little tiny bit that we had left. The rest of our pink tourmaline. And the rest of our gold. And that's it. Put in a bit more of our blue. Have our cup, and let's pour. Here we go. I'm going to pour all in the middle. And I think we're probably going to pour all of this blue right off there. But we will wait and see. We will wait and see. Normally I would pour across, but I didn't this time. And that was by design. I didn't forget to pour across. I just wanted to keep everything right in the middle, even if we had to pour a whole bunch off. Because I really love what's happening here. And I don't care if we lose all of that to keep it. A little bit more torching. There's a lot of air bubbles coming out because we had to stir together all of those paints that were left over just now and adding water to thin them. So that definitely creates air bubbles when you do that. So let's just tilt a little, see what we have to work with. I think we're just going to go this way and just pour that blue off right now. Let's get rid of it. Okay. Good. Be gone, blue that we didn't want. Oh, I love it. Let's get that corner tilted. Oh, I like it a lot, just the way that it is. I might leave it with those corners. I'm just going to stand back and think about that for a moment. There is plenty of time to make decisions about this painting. Nothing is going to happen to this paint in the next 5 minutes that will make any difference at all to the end result. So I'm going to let the cells develop that are coming through all that paint, and then we get to decide. And I can pour off the two sides if we want to. We can do that 5 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now, it'll still be okay. So I'm just going to think about this for a minute while those cells come up. Look at all those blues and purples. All right, so I think we will pour off the corners. I've looked at it long enough, torched it, I'm going, and Dave the art critic agrees the corners need to go. So let's pour them off. There's one. Oh my. And there's corner 2 on its way. Let's get all of that paint back to the middle and centered. It's very otherworldly, like some kind of a cave or something. I don't quite know how to explain what my eye sees. I'm sure your eye sees something very, very different than that. But it is unusual. It's for darn sure. And I don't know if we want more of this red or more of this kind of yellow gold with all the cells. So I'm just going to keep moving it back and forth until I decide. I still haven't decided, so I think I'll leave it alone and see what else happens with those cells. That can be the deciding factor. In a pour like this, where the cells are coming up over time, sometimes you don't really know how you want to compose the shapes and the colors by tilting until, you know, it's fully there. So we'll just give it a few more minutes and think about it. And so now I've come around from your perspective, and I think it's done. Now that I see it from your perspective, I know exactly that it's finished. But from the other direction, from over here, I wasn't sure at all. But definitely it's done. I am not going to do anything to it. I can't wait to see what more develops here, because I'm sure there will be a little bit more before it's all done. And I can't wait to see how that is, and how these metallics all look when it's dry too. All right, there's our little straight pour with our leftover paint that I no longer have to pack when we move next week. So yay, got to use it. Got a beautiful, beautiful, colorful pour out of it, and I'm delighted. Thank you again, as always, for watching and joining us, and I hope that you've been inspired to go and paint something and use up some of your leftover paints in a creative way, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.